But let's get into an interesting conversation. An interesting conversation in the hip hop realm. Apparently, there is some beef brewing between hip hop journalists and hip hop. I guess I mean people who break down hip hop related material. Now, I admit, I wasn't a huge proponent in that space on YouTube, but after I believe TBH, he put a video in the chat like months ago, and it was from a person named What's the Dirt, and I recall hearing him. I recall hearing him on the Joe Budden podcast, and at the time, I wasn't aware of who they were talking about because you hear a person called What's the Dirt, you're like, that's a person, like that's their name. But in any case, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of content creators have blown up. Specifically, even if they weren't necessarily covering this years ago, but a lot of hip hop related YouTubers and content creators have blown up from this Drake and Kendrick beef. Like, don't get it mistaken. Even people that have been doing this for over a decade have really gotten a lot of attention, a lot of recognition from this beef alone. So, like I said, outside of copyright issues, niggas been making money out here, man. Niggas been making money out here. But anyways, so What's the Dirt has been getting a lot of traction because of his breakdowns on the specific songs. He's not even just breaking down the beef. He does have videos breaking down various beefs, but he has been breaking down, quite thoroughly the Drake and Kendrick songs throughout this beef. So obviously started with, he did Like That, and he did Push Ups, even did Taylor Made, then went into Euphoria, then 616 in LA. And he doing it in order, right? And he's saying, hey, like, I'm doing some thorough investigation and journalism, so it's going to take me a while to get these videos out. So now we made it to Family Matters. Now we have made it to Family Matters. Now, another thing that I want to point out is when What's the Dirt has been doing these videos, right? People have been, because again, like, we're so divided. There is a war that's still going on between Drake stands and Kendrick stands, right? So whenever What's the Dirt drops these videos, depending on what video it is, if it's a Drake song, then people say that he's compromised, that he's an OV hole, whatever. And when he did the breakdowns on the Kendrick songs, then people say that, he's a K-bot, right? So can't win, really. You really can't win. Like, people really truly they want you to pick a side, right? They want you to pick a side in this beef. But for the most part, outside of the particular fans, besides the particular fans, whatever side that you stand on, people have been, for the most part, respectful and actually enjoying his videos and praising him. Like, he has a clip at the end of all his videos where he shows various content creators, YouTubers, whatever, praising him and saying, hey, like, I watch your videos, like, those are some very thorough breakdowns of the beef and these particular songs. Like, I learned a lot from watching your videos. Now, I also want to preface this by what he says in his videos are not 100% factual. Like, everything that he says is not 100% factual. He does theorize a lot. He does reach, and I feel like everybody reaches, for what they think, could be the real reason, the real meaning behind certain lines or whatever, right? So he does admit that he does read. So again, don't get it twisted. If anybody thinks that any of his videos, or really anybody in particular, anybody in general, if you think that what they say in their videos were 100% factual, like, you just, I don't know, you're lost. You're lost, right? But so I want to preface that by, saying that. So now that we're caught up. So Family Matters drop. He's been teasing it for a while, saying it's going to take a long time to drop. This video is the longest. It is the longest video that he's done to date, I believe. I want to make sure. This video was 2 hours long. Euphoria was pretty long, it was an hour. And I think before that, that was probably his longest. Maybe his longest. It's 2 hours, 23 minutes. That was an hour. It usually had like 33 minutes, like 50. Like, this was 55 minutes, 616 in LA. Let me just say, this was 47 minutes. Drake versus Kendrick Lamar, 100%. Yeah. So this is his best video today, right? The Kendrick versus Drake versus Kendrick Lamar, 100% full story explained. So that's his best video. But yeah, he outside of the Euphoria disc video, which was an hour, this is his longest video today, right? 2 hours, 2 hours and 23 minutes. Now, in this video, and I ended up watching it all the way through. In this video, he mainly talks about, which I actually forgot about because I think I only caught a clip, but I didn't listen to the entire song. But he does talk about the Buried Alive Part 2 disc, which was only on Drake's Instagram. And I didn't really hear anybody talking about that at all. Like, he kind of came and went because, again, it was so much going on that I don't think anybody really took that serious. They thought it was, more of a parody, a mockery. But it was interesting, like, hearing him, or somebody in that matter breaking that down, because I did miss that. But in any case, so he went to Family Matters and he not only breaks down pretty much almost every line here, which I feel like he didn't need to, but I understand what he was trying to do here. He was trying to capitalize on the situation. Like, look, I built up a lot of hype. I want to make this video, the best video that I could potentially do. So even if that involves, breaking down every single line, but maybe I didn't need to, maybe there wasn't truly any deeper meaning to it, but I want to break down every line just to, make it longer, just to stretch the video out and, and again, get more revenue. And again, it's because people have been anticipating these videos, right? Like, we want him to complete the series and get through all of these songs before it gets old. Like, people still bring it back up, obviously, but at this point, it's like, damn, how long are you truly going to take before this gets old and people just don't care anymore? But in any case, so he dropped this video, and what up, Young? So yeah, YouTube, of course. So again, I understand it. And I'm sure he's feeling himself right now, right? He's feeling himself. He's a newcomer in this hip hop space as far as like making videos or whatnot on YouTube, and he's garnered a lot of attention, right? He's garnered a lot of attention, and a lot of people regard him now as like one of the best hip hop breakdown channels, right? Like, a lot of people regard him as one of the best hip hop breakdown channels, but there were people who were doing this before him. But just haven't gotten as much attention as he has gotten this year alone from this Drake and Kendrick beef. So he broke this whole song down, and he not only again did Buried Alive Part 2, but he broke down the song almost line for line, and he also thoroughly analyzed the video in itself. And again, I found it pretty interesting, but a lot of people did not find his video that appealing. A lot of people had a problem with his video on Family Matters. So first of all, let's break down why people had a problem. So people had a problem because, one, it's a Drake song, and now I think people have really picked their side. So if you have anything positive to say about Drake, then the people on the Kendrick side is going to hate you. If you have anything to say positive about Kendrick, then the people on the Drake side are going to hate you. So they really want him to pick a side, like I said before. So it's a Drake video, so the Kendrick people were mad. They're like, hey, you're compromised, you're an OV-ho, blah, blah. So that's one. Two is he's white. So I'm not gonna lie. Us black people, we try to gatekeep as much as we can, especially when it comes to hip hop. So there are things that any race, but especially white people, especially Caucasian people, like, if y'all talk about quote unquote like Black Matters and try to infiltrate your way into our space, we are going to have a problem. And that's just that. Even if you are qualified, like, again, there's only a certain amount of white people within this hip hop space that have had success and that we respect. And the list is very short. It's like Eminem, Mac Miller, RIP, and I don't know, we're trying with Jack Harlow, but I don't even know now. Like I said, it's rare. But Eminem is top number one. Really not too many people have anything bad to say about him. And like I said, Mac Miller, still alive. Like, people, it's a very short list. it's a very short list. So anyways, so that's that. So he's white, and people find problems with him talking about Black Matters. Not just hip hop, but just Black Matters, period. 3, it's from Canada, so people are going to automatically be like, all right, you clearly have a Drake bias because you live in Canada. It's not even, I don't even, he said he lives in Newfoundland, so I don't know exactly where that is in Canada, but I mean, it's not Toronto. But in any case, So those were the main three surface level things that people had a problem with. Now, to break down some of the things that people were upset about that he said in this video, one was, it was a clip of him talking about the beginning of Family Matters, when you heard Drake's mother saying, you know, I don't think you should say that. Ain't like, nigga, I said that, I know you mad. People had a problem with that because he said that he was like, this is clever because he was like, Drake's mom probably did not want him to say that. And then, you know, Drake's black side, aka his father's side, he said that they probably have said the N-word, you know, when they were growing up. So it gave Drake the confidence to be like, hey, like, you're not going to take that away from me, Kendrick, you know, just because, you know, we don't want to hear you say nigga no more. So I'm going to make it an emphasis to keep saying nigga, and you're not going to stop me. So people had a problem with that. Again, that's a black matter. People like, well, why would you assume that his black side said the N-word? What are you trying to say? Or are you trying to say that all black families say the N-word? And I'm going to bring it on myself. I cannot pinpoint when I start saying the N-word. I cannot pinpoint when I start saying the N-word, but I will tell you this. You know, my mom was a single mom, and, you know, it was me. I was an only child. I don't recall my mom ever saying the N-word, like, ever. I don't recall saying it when I was young. Probably took me getting into high school at the latest to start hearing it a lot and actually using it in my vocabulary. But I mean, I don't recall saying it in my super young years. You know, I heard the N-word a lot in rap songs, you know, when I finally started listening to explicit content, but I didn't really say it. You know, it wasn't really in my vocabulary. It just ended up, again, with the certain people that you hang around as you get older, it kind of just gets ingrained in you, in black culture. So like, I started saying it late, but I can't recall me, and I would be remiss to be like, yeah, I said it my entire life, because I know that's not true. You're right. Like, I know that's not true, at least for me. You know, other people are different, but for me, in my environment, I don't recall my mom saying it. I don't recall, like, my cousin saying it, really. Like, my aunts, uncles, I don't recall them saying it, or at least not around me. So again, that's just me. And, you know, again, that cannot apply to every black family, that you just assume that they're going to say the N-word. So people got on him for that, even though he did say probably. I'll throw him some bill. He did say probably, but again, people not trying to hear that because you're white and you're speaking on black business. So people got upset at that. That was one. Going further into the N-word, What's the Dirt said that Drake said the N-word 37 times in this song. He said he counted the word nigga 37 times, right? And he was like, this is clever because Drake is 37 and he said the word nigga 37 times to show that that he grew up saying the word. And he grew up saying the word his entire life. And there are clips, like, again, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody to know Drake's upbringing. He didn't live with his dad. Like, we know that he did not live with his dad. He lived with his mom in Canada, predominantly white and Jewish speaking area, right? So I highly doubt that, again, it's just like me, in Drake's earlier years, I don't think he was saying the word nigga. And I also don't think that it was his dad, you know, and his dad's side of the family. We can't just assume that it was his dad's side of the family that, you know, gave him the confidence to say the word nigga, right? Like, you just don't. You can't assume that. But I'm like, this was a super reach. This was a super reach to be like, hey man, I counted the word nigga in this song. He said 37 times. And Drake did that purposely to be like, hey man, I'm saying, because I'm 37, I've said it all my life. Like, that's a reach. And again, I brushed it off at first, but again, I'm just stating what people were upset at, right? It sounds culture. Yeah, exactly. It sounds like he's very tone deaf, not reading the room. So I was like, yeah, that's a reach. So that got people upset. Another significant one was he labeled Kendrick Lamar and said he's probably a milkman. because Kendrick has slept with white women, and on a particular song on Mr. Morale, he talks about like the first time I fucked a white bitch I was 16, then the second time I fucked a white bitch, I was on tour. So he was saying that Kendrick was probably a closeted milkman, and Drake was trying to expose that, hey, like you got a mixed queen, like you say that you're pro-black and all this blackness, blackity black stuff, but you like white women, right? So that's what What's the Dirt was trying to break down. And he also used a clip of Uncle Ruckus. So people got really upset. So it's like, oh, first you're trying to call him a milkman, aka a snow bunny hopper, and then you call this man a coon? You're saying he's Uncle Ruckus, and that Kendrick is playing like he's really pro-black and an activist. He's doing it to basically grift. So that's What's the Dirt was alluding to, that he's a grifter and that Kendrick is fake with this, right? Another thing, he stressed the whole when Drake was talking about, who really bangs a sad my nigga YG, who really bangs a sad my nigga CB, and he was like, in this video, he was like, yeah, CB, Chris Brown, is certified. He's stamped as a Pyru, and he was alluding to Kendrick not really being affiliated, like being essentially a fake gangster. So he was riding with Drake, with what Drake was saying, like, hey, like you're not really about that. Like if you was, they'll give you a DP, aka disciplinary action. So people got mad at that. They're like, yo, like I don't care if Chris Brown is certified as a Pyru. You're not going to take away that Kendrick is affiliated with gang culture. Like that's something that I don't even feel comfortable speaking about. I don't know nothing about gang affiliation. I definitely don't know anything about LA gang politics, because that's a whole different story. It gets very, very complex out there. But what I do know is that I don't think anybody in LA is truly questioning whether Kendrick Lamar is affiliated or not. There's a difference between being affiliated and actually actively gang banging. Now we know that Kendrick, at least right now, he ain't actively gang banging, but who's to say that he did in the past and then just stopped, or somebody stopped him, like an OG stopped him. You literally did an interview on, what was it, Noisy or Vice back in the day, where he had a whole bunch of Bloods behind him. Literally did the pop-up show, and you had actual gang members on both sides, Crips and Bloods, up there singing the song, talking about you being a pedophile, a pedophile. So again, that's something that I don't feel like really anybody, unless you are from LA, you know something about that, to really speak about. Forget him being in Canada and being white, like that doesn't matter. But again, people emphasize that, like, first of all, you're not from LA, you're from Canada, and you white. So don't be talking about any gang politics and trying to allude that that you agree with Drake, and you're like, oh, CB is actually certified, but Kendrick, you not. Like, and Chris Brown is from Virginia, so I don't care if somebody actually jumped him in. I'm not going to deny Kendrick's gang affiliations. Like it's dumb. It's a dumb argument. So those are the main things. Another small thing where people were getting upset about was the whole Hard Rock situation, where Kendrick was supposed to be someplace, and somebody saw him beating up on somebody. what up, Cammy? Of course, Cammy always comes in when we talk about Drake. So people were getting on that too, because he was trying to of course do the research on it, and people were pushing back on that, because they're like, oh, we already proved that this was false. He really wasn't there. He didn't beat up on anybody, and blah blah blah. So people got mad at that. So those are the main things that people got mad at What's the Dirt for. But outside of that, there is a person called The Company Man. Now, again, I am not familiar with The Company Man, as I said before. I really wasn't familiar with a lot of hip hop breakdown channels, but The Company Man, as I did research on him, he's been around for a long time. So he's an OG. He's certified. He's been doing a lot of hip hop journalist content for a while now. And What's the Dirt has some things to say about The Company Man. He's really upset with him, and he's calling him a fucking snake, because The Company Man criticized him in a video talking about What's the Dirt. Now, What's the Dirt, as I mentioned before, he puts at the end of his videos clips of everybody praising him. Like anybody who has something nice to say about him, he'll put it at the end of his videos. And he put The Company Man in there too. He actually mentioned it twice about how the company man was saying, hey, like I like What's the Dirt, like his videos are very nuanced, blah blah blah. And he's like, okay, how can you say that about me, but then you want to criticize me because of the certain things that you didn't like me saying in the Family Matters breakdown, and you think that I'm racist, and because I'm counting niggas. He said to me, he's counting niggas in his cave. That's what he said. So it's happy Blade. Thank you, Melody. There go 55. What is that? Big 40. He says he had a birthday the other day. What up, 55? So yeah. So now What's the Dirt and the company man are beefing. So I ended up, watching some videos from the company man. He's in my algorithm. But this really came up and I did my went down a rabbit hole. Shout out to FD Signifier. I wasn't aware of him either, but another video that got linked in our chat was his 3-hour breakdown on the whole Drake and Kendrick beef, which is really good. That was a long video, but it was really good. So shout out to FD Signifier. I've been watching a lot of his videos, especially on this B-side video. So huge shout out to him. His videos are very interesting, and he's very wise. And it does thorough breakdowns as well. So shout out to him. But he had something to say about What's the Dirt and the company man too. He was like, well, why he was like, just stay out of black business. Basically, that was a whole just a video, like, stay out of black business, What's the Dirt, like, stay in your lane. Like, I don't have a particular problem with you, but FT Signifier felt like What's the Dirt is leaning more into that Adam 22/academics route. Like, he was like, why are you crashing out on Twitter? He's basically rebuttaling everybody. Like, he hasn't really been active on Twitter like at all. But after this video, a lot of people had stuff to say about him, and he's been replying to like almost everybody. And he actually put a video up about the company man, which he deleted. But of course, people keep the file. So the company man was breaking that down when he was, basically saying, fuck this dude. Like, he literally said, like, fuck this dude. Like, you a snake. I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, how you gonna praise me in one video, but then diss me, criticize me. So I feel like What's the Dirt, he has a lot to learn about the internet, right? Like, all it takes is one misstep or one thing to go wrong that people don't like in order to start up a shitstorm. And it also helps when you have other people, your peers, because these are your peers now, who criticize you and they make videos about you. So that also amplifies, the spotlight or the microscope being on you. I'm not saying that What's the Dirt is wrong, but some of his takes in this video were a little weird, and I do agree that some things you should probably just, if you feel like you want to talk about it in this black business as a white person in Canada, I would probably refrain from doing so, because you see how hella people got upset at you and are now questioning your credibility because you spoke on black business. Like, no matter what people say, hip hop is primarily a black sport. Like, hip hop was birthed on the struggle of black people, and you're not going to take that away from us. So there are going to be a lot of people who are going to gatekeep. They're going to start gatekeeping even more, and they're going to be watching him even harder, to see what he's going to say. And they're going to thoroughly break down his next video and probably upcoming. I don't think he's going to lose the momentum here, but because he crashed out and talked about the company man, like, a lot of people respect the company man, for what I can see. So there are a lot of people who are very, very upset at him saying fuck the company man. So we'll see how this ends up. But the company man put out another video like 2 hours ago, responded to him again. So this is going to go on for a while. I don't know if What's the Dirt is going to make a public video on YouTube. It's probably not. But I would suggest to first stay off Twitter, because you're not going to win that. Stay off Twitter, and I would suggest that you watch what you say. I feel like What's the Dirt, there was still a lot of things in all the videos that he done that I watched that I was like, damn, like, I didn't really know about that. But again, there are certain things that if you feel like it's a real controversial topic, you're talking about the N-word, for example. I know he also talked about like the black of the berry, the sweet of the Jews. It was just certain things that they were just, the audience was just like, why? Like, it's cringeworthy for you to talk about certain things. Like, you should, quote unquote, for lack of better terms, just stay in your lane, right? Stay in your lane. So it's interesting. It's interesting how people seemingly turned on What's the Dirt after this particular video. It wasn't really beforehand, outside of, again, you have the Drake fans who were getting mad at his Kendrick breakdowns, and the Kendrick fans getting mad at his Drake breakdowns. But this video, especially being so long, like 2 hours and 23 minutes. And I get it. A lot of it was theories and reaching, which he admitted. A lot of it was theories and reaching. So I hope that he again takes his criticism and doesn't just want to crash out, because clearly this is like his very first time really catching criticism, not just from a random person on Twitter or in the YouTube comments, but from your peers who are making videos about you. So again, I know it's hard. We're all human. We have feelings, and this is his first real experience with your peers who have been around longer than you, at least in this YouTube space, having legit criticisms about you. Just have to walk that fine line, brush it off, take the criticism with the, and actually like take it to heart, and come back and be like, all right, well, I'll do better, instead of just crashing out and saying fuck dude, because apparently the company man got a lot of people riding for him. So now you have made enemies. So it is what it is. But like I said, shout out to Whistle Dirt. I'm still gonna watch his videos, but I understand everybody's problems with him, and some of the takes that he had, some of the theories, some of the reaching that he had in this video. But it was a good video. It was just very long. I was like, damn, 2 hour 23-minute video, and a lot of it was indeed reaching, and people felt like, hey, you weren't being sincere here. Like, just look at the comments. Yeah, he was hyping it up. He was hyping it up a lot. But a lot of people are not. I'd like to see I don't have my vidIQ, but I would love to see the like-dislike ratio on here. But some people here say, bro, if Drake counted 37 N-words represent how he been black all of life, this is the whitest thing he could have done. I agree. Here before WTD deletes a video because he went on Twitter and decided to call black hip-hop journalists unintelligent. That's the company, man, for critiquing the video and a Carlton. Oh yeah, I forgot he called him a Carlton too. He called him a Carlton. So I'm like, bro, he's digging that hole. He keeps digging that hole. You gotta know when to quit. You gotta disengage. I get it. You want to talk crap about him because he criticized you or had valid critiques about you. It's a difference between, constructive criticism and just, outright shitting on you. And I don't think he shit on him, but he had legit concerns about what you were saying in your video. But yeah, people are riding for the company man. He said he called him a Carlton for not using the N-word, because the company man said that he didn't use the N-word in like the first 20 years of his life. And again, I brought up my experience. I don't remember when I started saying that, but it was definitely late high school, if not early college. I wasn't actively using that word or just cursing at all, really. I wasn't until later on in my teen years at the bare minimum. So this person said, here's a biracial person who was Mexican and black. This was indeed your worst breakdown, and I don't care what people say. I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt, but come on, how are you going to allude to Drake saying the N-word 37 times is his way to define his blackness every year, as if that's a thing in black culture? That was really crazy. Digging through Wendy's socials and reporting incorrect information about her is just foul. Did Drake put this dude on the OVO payroll? Like I said, they keep saying that he's an OVO. It's gonna say that he's on the payroll, that he was paid to do this, blah blah blah. So he's saying that you Puerto Rican, this guy, bro. This guy. Counting N words, thinking the cleverest, nasty words. Like I said, a lot of people were mad about that. 2.5 hour video, which is 80% lies and speculation, 10% personal opinions, and 10% of an actual breakdown. If you pride yourself on investigative journalism, this was an epic fail at that. Drake explains almost every punchline after he makes it in the song. This shit did not need to be 2 hours long. I will admit, man, like I know that there was a thing that like, oh man, like everybody thinks that every line that Kendrick has, has a deeper meaning. And they've been saying that Drake has not been so clever. I don't think that Drake is just not clever at all with what he's been saying. But I do again believe that there were a lot of reaches in some of these lines that he was breaking down. Oh, this has a double, triple meaning. Like, it was one thing I was just like no, like it was one of them lines. I wish I could remember what, but I was just like, absolutely, like that is the biggest reach that you could do. So yeah, so people are mad at him. People are mad at him. Let me see. This was the point I had to cut off. So Kendrick jealous of Drake's relationship with women when Drake baby mom is a corn star is on pay. Yeah, I think that was one of them too. I'm like, I don't think that Kendrick will be jealous of Drake getting a corn star pregnant. Like, he thought, he alluded to Drake was hiding his child because his child was white. And I'm like, no, that ain't it. We know why he hid that kid. It's because of the mama. He didn't really want to have that kid with that lady. Of course, like, you know what people are going to say. And as soon as we found out, we ain't talk about the kid. We ain't talk about Adonis. What everybody talk about? They talked about who we had the kid with. He was hiding her too. Like, it wasn't just hiding the child. It was hiding the mama. So no, people were upset. People were really going at him because of that. It ain't, that's something that is embarrassing. Getting a porn star pregnant is embarrassing. So it wasn't a kid. It wasn't a kid, my guy. It was the mama. So yeah, people were upset. People were upset. So I still will be looking forward to him finishing this series. I can't wait because it's gonna be a lot of reaching. I ain't even gonna lie. It's gonna be a lot of reaching with Meet the Grams because that video was a lot of lies. I ain't even go front. It's a lot of lies, but at the time, bro, it was one of the most powerful songs in its entire back and forth. One of the most powerful songs in its entire back and forth. Mostly because of the timing, but because of how dark it was. So it's gonna be a lot of reaching in that one, but I want to see it. I want to see what he's going to say. I want to see what he's possibly going to come up with, and then Not Like Us, and then finally The Hard Part 6, and then I guess he may go to the Watch the Party Down. I don't know. By the time he gets through this, it's gonna be 2025. I feel like. Hope he can finish it by the end of the year. But I wouldn't make the video, 2.5 hours again. I wouldn't make it 2.5 hours. So that's that. That is that. Oh yeah, I also want to show some of these tweets because he deleted his crash out on September 17th. He deleted his crash out, but as you can see, he been commenting to a lot of people, man. Like I said, he got a lot of criticism. On Twitter, man. A lot of criticism on Twitter. Let me go through a couple of these here. Said stand on business. He's standing on business. I hit that. He's standing on business. They said, sure, that doesn't sound look like it. He included all the stuff you just admitted you couldn't figure out. That's weird. Like that. It was actually Diddy at the hard. I don't know what he's talking about. He said it was hard. It said with Diddy at the hard right. Let me see. So even if what you're saying in your video is inaccurate, it's okay as long as you get views and new subs. Somebody was like, man, you just be lying. You just be lying for views and subs. This person said, not gonna lie, bro, you do great work, but on like 616 in LA, you fill this one with tons, and I mean tons of reaches and biases in order to push your narrative. There is no reason this needs to be 2+ hours. You are extremely talented, but damn, man, I was hoping to learn something new. As a K-Dot fan, mostly good video, but you definitely had a bunch of reaches. You also got to fix that misinfo about Kendrick being present at that show where the woman was assaulted, but the vid also opened to my eyes of a lot of double meanings I ain't catch. So yeah, it was people getting on his head. This person here, your mask have been lifting you slowly but surely. The hiding and faking can't last forever. He said, I'm not sure what exactly I did to you to attack me personally or downplay the research I work hard doing, especially in this particular instance, having nothing to do with Kendrick. So this person Moni had been very upset with him. So I say he been catching strays. He been catching strays every which way, and he's actually been replying to a lot of stuff when he barely used Twitter at all. But right now, according to the internet, he is Drake's #1 fan. He is the Messiah. He is the white knight of Drake. But just watch it. It's going to flip again once he finally puts out that Meet the Grams breakdown. It's going to flip again. Because like I said, he's been doing it the entire time. So that's that. That's